Flight boss, bitch, you know, for sure. You're now listening to the Mind of an Eteric's Moon. I'm the Archangel Uriel. Okay, and I'm here to carry out God duties and motherfucker responsibilities. And right now, we're going to talk about the planetary family. You see what I'm saying? The motherfucker planetary family. Now, you know what goes on right here, you know. I like to break everything down, but in a way that it makes sense. You see what I'm saying? Because as above, so below. And I mean that. Nothing's new up under this realm of reality, up under this sun, up under this solar system. There's nothing new up under here. So whatever you think anyone is doing is not new. And I don't mean from the smallest things. I mean from the largest things. And that's like marriage, the way a family is set up, and everything. And only reason, and I ain't mean to say marriage, but family. You know what I'm saying? The way a family is constructed. But for some strange reason, when we add external ways like marriage and stuff like that, and when the intellectual Elohim beings came together and utilized the planetary system of the solar system energy to utilize what they want to utilize on a Pacific land mass, which is Earth, they take these same energy and make it go through filters that they want it to be seen for. So a lot of time humans play out those characteristics. But here's the thing. Let me break this down first. As the whole planetary system, and within this solar system that you're able to live up under by how this system run, this solar system run with these 10 planets and things of that nature, which is more, but the most impact, that's just like the most impact to you. You got a head, you got a heart, you got a brain, just like that's the same way with the planets that we most know. That's why we most know them, because we most know our main organisms. So those together and everything in between creates one being. Now within that being, you have higher spiritual beings. That's aka they're like gods. There are gods. And when gods come together, they form a Elohim. You know what I'm saying? When it's a group of them. Now they take the energies of the being that they are in and create lesser beings than them. You know what I'm saying? So they can experience a kingdom for themselves the same way the being that they're in did. You see what I'm saying? So all the concepts of things that you are already aware of are made by the Elohim, and whatever human cater to whatever each Elohim, whatever God, and cater to that one to the best capability and understand the ways of that God the most. That God is going to make that human receive the fruits and labor of that concept. And that human is going to be able to live out the existence of that Pacific God's heaven, or how that Pacific God see the existence how they wanted it to be, and then that's how they're able to experience it through you. So if you're being disgruntled or you're being negligent, you know what I'm saying, then they're going to put you through all these tests for you to realize what path you're on. But if you're not on any path, like a lot of enlightened beings and like angels that come here like me, and you're not on no paths, then 9 times out of 10 you find yourself struggling or having to speak louder than others to get people to understand that they are up under a concept. And then anytime Elohim know that, so they attack certain beings and put up realms of realities and illusions and obstacles here for that certain being to have to go through, and see how hard that being have to fight just to get across an idea that they have control over. You see what I'm saying? So the Elohim know that Pacific being is not attached to anything that Pacific Elohim member, that God created. You see what I'm saying? So you're not going to be able, as an enlightened being here, you're not going to be able to access any of the fruits and labor, which you shouldn't even want to in the first place. So if you are going to be an enlightened spiritual being when you come here, the whole point is to detach and create your own realm of reality, so you can absorb energy from others that's like-minded, so you could create an existence for yourself and don't need those realms of reality. And then the less energy and the less people pay attention to those realms of realities and portals ran by those Elohims, the more those concepts would disappear. Because as a human, you have more power than them, because you actually have a physical vessel within their dream. When you go to sleep, that's just your soul body. But they got the power to create a realm of create their inner world, and they got the energy because they was together, and they created a realm of reality with a whole bunch of different perceptions because of each of them in that, right? So their inner worlds is being expressed externally by you, but by you have the power to do that also. But humans and the spiritual beings that jumped into humans for some reason forgot about this because of the programs and portals that Elohim set in this realm of reality. So if you are a spirit and you have made yourself jump into this realm of reality, now you have a soul, and now you experience that to jump into a body. Now you was birthed here. You wanted to be here to experience this, but you have to understand also that it's being ran by intellectual beings who already created this. So as a spiritual being, you came from somewhere else that was probably created, or somewhere that you may have created. But as soon as you jump into this body to be able to experience here by this Elohim, it's certain limits that this Elohim have created here. So the enlightened spiritual beings is people who actually remember when they wasn't in this physical body. They just don't know how to understand that that's what's going on. So they like, damn, am I supposed to be here, or is this what's really going on? Like how I feel. You see what I'm saying? 1 second. Yeah, but that'll be how I feel. You see what I'm saying? But at the same time, what you need to understand is it's going to be like that. They know who you are. Like, you a person who enlightened, but you're going through all this struggle and shit in your life and things of that nature. A lot of times you're being attacked in the yin realm. Because to find them, you got to go in the yin realm and know how to travel there. You're not going to find them externally. You're not going to find none of them motherfuckers externally. You know what I'm saying? They may show representations of themselves and give you ideas on how they may look externally, but you're not actually going to find them motherfuckers externally. Them motherfuckers could be right in front of your face every day. You ever had like a bad habit or something in your house, or a person, place, or thing that's like always in front of you, that's like always causing you to take actions in another way, or things of that nature? 9 times out of 10, externally, that person is carrying the spirit or the energy or the representation of that Elohim member, and that's that Elohim member working through that person to actually come to you in a way that it can. You see what I'm saying? So you have to be aware of that. When you are enlightened, you are 24/7 on guard, because this is not your place. This is not where you from. You don't. This is what you're trying to experience. You see what I'm saying? So anybody trying to come, that's like me creating something, right? Let's say I created a job that a lot of people could work at, and then a motherfucker come trying to fuck my whole system up, telling everybody in my job that, man, you ain't gotta answer the phones like that. You could just do this, or you ain't gotta log in and sign your name like that. You could, like, you know what I'm saying? Of course I'm gonna intervene as the manager or whatever like that, and be like, nah, you can't come in here, you're fired, or nah, get the fuck out of here, or this, that, and the third, or create certain circumstances, because a lot of times when you hire people, you just can't fire people for no reason. It got to be a specific reason. So I create all kind of circumstances, scenarios, and get that motherfucker less hours or something like that for that motherfucker to either quit or walk out or something like that. So you know what I'm saying? You think it's not like that on a higher dense, on a higher level? It's levels to this shit. You know what I'm saying? When Meek Mill made that song, any song a person make is real. It comes from a real place. You see what I'm saying? So to get into because we're gonna go way off. Let me get to the family of the planetary alignment. Now, just like your structure family, how you got hands, head, whatever like that. All the planets, the 10 planets, and all the planets and stars in between make up one. But the main ones, the main organisms you know, is because you have the same main organisms you know as a human. So off the bat, you know, the less dense Elohims, they're just using this being that we're in, aka this solar system, and the demigods that's living within this being that's higher up, you know what I'm saying, made lesser vehicles to be experienced. Now, and that's how they experience through you. Whether you give them the energy and they can access this realm through you, because you're doing all things based upon their alignment, or if you're being disgruntled and being opposing, then you're going to get those kind of results. Now, as far as motherfucking the how the planets play out, I like to look at it like this. the sun is the father, right? The moon is the mother. We know the moon is dealing with home, family, connection, yin. So ultimately, the moon is your yin, the sun is your yang. That's your breath. That's your in and out. So when it comes to this, we know that at some point the women and the females are always more connected to the family than the male. So at the same time, we know that the moon is what's connecting a lot of things. So off the bat, and the moon is the reflection of the sun. That's going to be a reflection of when the guy go out and work, his reflection of home is going to be how well the woman keeps it up. Now, so she represents him. They represent each other. So the oldest son is Mars, the oldest sibling. That's Mars. Because what happens here is, oh yeah, I got you on bad as shit. But yeah, what happens here is when you got Mars being the oldest son, Mars about to go to college. You know what I'm saying? It's about to go play basketball, play football or something like that, or it's about to go to the army. You know what I'm saying? Or it's about to, you know what I'm saying? Things of that nature. Or it's about to jump into a situation.
What?
Oh, I thought you were looking for something.
Oh, no.
Oh, but yeah, shit. It's about to go in the army, going to motherfucking go to war. You know what I'm saying? And it need goals. You know what I'm saying? These intentions. It need willpower. It need desire, because you know it's about to step into manhood. You know what I'm saying? And Mars carry out the duties and obligations of the sun. So Mars is the one that the sun is going to tell. Go take out the trash, or you need to get a job. You know what I'm saying? That's why Mars is your intent, your passion, your willpower, your desire. You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? Now, the next oldest sibling is Venus, and that's the oldest girl. So she's in high school. So right now she wants to experience pleasure. She wants to experience relating to people, relationships and things of that nature, and how to value things and how to appreciate things and appreciate the feelings, keyword, feelings and things of that nature, which comes in to Venus. Now you have the youngest sibling, the kid, the one that's running around everywhere, in and out of everything, trying to figure out all the puzzles, play all the video games, logically understand how everything is working, picking up everything real fast. The Mercury. See what I'm saying? So Mercury is the youngest sibling, and that's in and out everything and reading all the instructions and things of that nature. And it's almost like a kid. It's here, it's everywhere at one time. You see what I'm saying? Now, you got Jupiter. Jupiter is like the drunk uncle or the drunk aunt. You know what I'm saying? The person, everybody got an uncle or aunt that they can go to and relate to, but at the same time, the uncle or aunt is still of age, because 9 times out of 10, 10 times out of 10, the uncle or aunt is your mother or your father's siblings. So that's the role Jupiter plays here. Somebody you could spiritually connect to, talk about experiences with, you know what I'm saying, and talk to them like they one of your friends, but at the same time, this person is still experienced enough, aka experience. That's why Jupiter is the planet of experience, meaning and reasoning, and higher learning. Yo. Now, when it comes to and you're going to be able to get wisdom. You could talk to your aunt or uncle about things you wouldn't talk to your parents about, because they're too busy giving you direction, aka the moon and the sun. But you see what I'm saying? Jupiter is someone you could go to, gain some wisdom and knowledge, and talk about your experiences with. You know what I'm saying? Together, and at the same time, this person is of experience. Now, Saturn is like the moon's father, because what happens here is the moon shares a lot of attributes, but it's not actually doing things like Saturn. And Saturn is the moon is more family and home orientated. So the moon is more connected to the family than the sun, than the male. So what happens here is Saturn becomes the father of the moon. So Saturn teaches its daughter to be a woman by learning things about time, learning things about reality and structure, because I understand that this is a woman that's dealing with a lot of emotions right here, and very connected. So right here, what the father can teach the young woman, or the woman in general, when she come into womanhood and motherhood, is how to construct, how to build bonds in reality. You know what I'm saying? And how to get sturdy. This is why women always make sure the male is in reality and not just going on and not thinking about home and family, or not just going on not thinking about structure, or not putting this action towards structure or how to align yourself with the family and things of that nature. You see what I'm saying? That's what Saturn teaches his daughter and what she should see in a man. And this is why a lot of times Saturn, in astronomy wise, Saturn does not reflect the sun. You see what I'm saying? Understand that too. And it takes a lot longer for Saturn to rotate than the sun. So that lets you know that it's a lot of conversation about that, because the sun, they try to say the sun closer to Earth than Saturn is, or whatever like that. But it is what it is. When we talk about time and this realm of reality and whatever illusion it is, it takes longer for Saturn to go around than the sun. So practically that means it's older. You see what I'm saying? And when Neptune is like the moon's mother. You know what I'm saying? It gives her dreams, illusions, creativity, imagination, spirituality. This is why a lot of times, if Saturn is going to be the grandpa, and Neptune is going to be the grandmother, and if Neptune represents dreams, illusions, creativity, imagination, and spirituality, 9 times out of 10, that's where you got your shit from. Your grandmother. You learned superstition from your grandmother. And if you learned it from your mother, 9 times out of 10, she learned it from her mother. And you fighting 2 damn generations of intellectual properties and shit just to find your own self. You see what I'm saying? So at the same time, it's like it plays out family as above so below, as below so above. So you know, Neptune is the grandmother, but more majorly the moon. You know what I'm saying? And it teaches the daughter spirituality, you know what I'm saying, superstition, imagination, dreams of that nature from far realms. And this is with the yin realm that the mother could tap into, and this is why you naturally have it from your mother, whether you're a male or a female. You see what I'm saying? Now Pluto is like the great ancestor. You know what I'm saying? It's the ancestor, that brings transformation, because that's the person that was already part of your family and has transformed and has ascended. You see what I'm saying? Or descended. But regardless of the mechanism of the energies that is vibrating on, it then transform. This is why Pluto represents transformation. You know what I'm saying? Deep willpower, deep desires, deep motivations, and it's all things of Mars on the deep end. So this is why a lot of times the oldest son pick up a lot of traits, or pick up a lot of DNA patterns from the ancestor. You know what I'm saying? Or even Saturn at times. But for the most part, when we talk about the family in situations, this is how it plays out in your life. And then just like the girl, like, and then you have, and I don't know why it's fading away from me too. I don't know why I forget Earth. Earth is the youngest daughter. It's 4 siblings: Mars, Venus, Earth. And see, we get so naive because we're on Earth. And I was just a place to blame for that also though. But Earth is a little girl, and Earth is a little older than Mercury. It's the third oldest sibling. Hold on, not third oldest sibling, but the youngest is Mercury, second youngest is Earth. Then you have Venus, is the third youngest, and then the oldest is Mars. And Earth is like the little girl that's kind of like Mercury. She's playing with toys. She's running in her older sister room. You know what I'm saying? Getting her Barbie dolls and stuff like that. And you know, stealing her Barbie dolls and stuff that was thrown in the closet. Shit, Venus, she's in the magazines now. She watching Love and Hip Hop now. You see what I'm saying? She watching Keeping Up with the Kardashians and shit. That's what Venus doing. You know what I'm saying? She don't give a fuck about her old shit she used to play with as a kid. So, you know, Earth, aka Torah, Gaia, she running in there, you know, taking all the little toys and shit and playing, and now she getting her first experiences of it. You know what I'm saying? And things of that nature, and going in there, stealing Venus phone and stuff, going through Venus phones, trying to look at conversations. You know, she not even into relationships. She's still out playing around and going to shit, freaking junior high. You know what I'm saying? Mercury just barely out of elementary. You see what I'm saying? It's very young. So the communication amongst everything and all mechanisms and organisms in this realm of reality, communication skill gonna be young. Motherfuckers still gotta verbally talk. That's a young, very young way of communicating through verbal language and creating that. That's a very young way of communicating. And it only plays out through that way in mankind because Mercury is, in general, the communication mechanism in this being we are in is very young. You see what I'm saying? So, yeah, Gaia is running around, and Gaia is really wanting the pleasure where she hearing conversations in the other room of Venus talking about sex, Venus talking about, and nobody's supposed to know she having sex and shit yet, and things of that nature. And only person who know that is because Earth sneaking in the room, looking through the door peephole, seeing what Venus doing when the moon and the sun ain't home. You know what I'm saying? When moon and the sun ain't in Cancer or Leo. You see what I'm saying? So at the same time, it caused a situation where it's like she know things, and Venus may, you know what I'm saying, tell her you better not tell, you better not do none of that, whatever like that. Mercury, he too young. He downstairs playing video games and shit like that. Mars is somewhere either about to get ready to go into the army, or he's at basketball practice or some shit like that. You see what I'm saying? That's the oldest son. He don't give a fuck about none of that shit. Just as long as ain't nobody coming in trying to fuck with Venus on harm her. You know what I'm saying? Because Venus is all about harmony, harmonious. That's the daughter. You know what I'm saying? Then the youngest daughter, which is Earth, you know what I'm saying? She's seen boyfriends coming over and things of that nature, and she's not supposed to tell and things of that nature, but she's wanting to experience pleasure and things of this nature for the first time. This is why Palladians like to come here, because they like to experience pleasures externally for the first time. You know what I'm saying? They're just now getting into this shit. This shit is young. See what I'm saying? So for the most part, you gotta understand the same shit that's going on up there, that's how it plays out down here. It has no choice. It have no motherfucking choice. So, you know, you have the mother and the father. You know, the father always is the direction of the household. He's always going to lead the household. He get a new job in a new city. Guess what? We packing up, we moving. That's the direction of the father. You know what I'm saying? The father keep things going. He keeps the lights on, aka the son. You know what I'm saying? He gets out there and work. He's seen. He has an ego. He has pride. And a lot of times it needs to be stroked, and a lot of times it doesn't. But he has to play a support system for, aka the mother, aka the moon. So the moon could keep a foundation, could keep things connected, can keep family cool, nurtured, you know what I'm saying, can care for the home. This is why it rules Cancer. You see what I'm saying? And then Mercury can go analyze and communicate and you know what I'm saying, think about what all the siblings is doing. The mother, father, listen, and it's just a young kid, that's what everybody. You know what I'm saying? Trying to learn everything. He's trying to learn the ways of mom, dad, aka sun, moon. Learn ways of the sisters, my two sisters, my older brother. You know what I'm saying? That's what Mercury trying to learn from everybody. Jupiter, you know what I'm saying? Jupiter is like the uncle and the aunt. So a lot of times when you like of some age that you could communicate, but say you got a younger sibling, right? Your uncle or your aunt, they still whooping them though. You know what I'm saying? They still telling them to go play, go outside and go play. So, aka in astronomy, Jupiter is opposing Mercury. You see what I'm saying? It's not like that, but I don't want you to look at it like an opposing situation. Look at it as more of a family-orientated situation. Jupiter is the older uncle or aunt, and Mercury is just a young kid running around trashing the aunt's house because the aunt or uncle might got kids. So that's the cousins, and Mercury come over there trashing the damn house. No, I'm gonna whoop your little ass, and you go back home and do that shit. See what I'm saying? You go back home and rambling everything. See what I'm saying? So, for the most part, and you can play this, and you can't say I'm lying or anything, because if you really into this shit, you can play these attributes out into how this play out with the signs that they rule, with how this fucking play out in families every day, and the shit just doing that above already. You know what I'm saying? We ain't gotta add no extra annotations to that shit. We ain't gotta add no marriage, or you need to do this, or you need to get baptized, or you need to walk down the aisle and all that shit. It's in your motherfucking DNA to be a part of a motherfucking family, and for it to be constructed in that kind of way. You see what I'm saying? It's in your fucking DNA, because you're within the DNA of the being that's actually doing that shit. So, that's the planetary alignments, the planetary family, and how it's perceived. And that's the same way how we receive ourselves. Now, you got distant cousins, distance, all kind of shit. And it's like, a lot of times, you care about your cousins and then you don't, but it's like, it's distant. So, the key word, distant. So, you have to look at distant stars, distant planets, that we're just finding out from a broad perspective. It took a little longer, but from a close, smaller perspective, it's closer. So, you're able to know your cousin. That's why you're able to know your cousins and your second cousins and your cousins of cousins and things of that nature. It all plays out as above, so motherfucking below. Motherfucker.